Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from R&N. On today's Xfinity Rewind, we're looking back at Saturday's 23rd Annual My Bariatric Solutions 300, 200 laps, 300 miles, around the 1.5-mile Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. 9 caution flags for a total of 50 laps in this race. We got started very early with the cautions at lap 3 as the 51 of Jeremy Clements spun on the front stretch. No other cautions in Stage 1. That ended at lap 45 with Christopher Bell taking the Stage 1 victory. Stage 2, we had a couple of incidents. First went lap 59 as the 66 of Tyler Hill and the 52 of David Starr got together in turn 4. Lap 66, Brad Keselowski spun it into the wall in turn 2. And lap 81, the 07 of Ray Black Jr. Spun in turn 2 and found the wall. Lap 90 would be the end of Stage 2 with Ryan Sieg taking the stage victory. Lap 127, the 7 of Justin Allgaier had his incident in turn 4. Lap 134 on the restart of after that caution, the 00 of Cole Custer and the 19 of Brandon Jones got together in turn 2 and spun into the wall. Lap 190, the final caution of the day, the 51 of Jeremy Clements stalled on pit road. 11 lead changes among 5 drivers in this race. Christopher Bell far and away led the most laps, 127 of them, which is pretty surprising, I think, on a lot of fronts, because we've gotten to the point where if Kyle Busch is in an Xfinity race, we expect him to dominate, lead most of the laps, and win the race. That was not the case today. Kyle Busch only led 33 laps, almost 100 less than what Christopher Bell led. 19 laps went to Tyler Reddick, 13 to Noah Gragson, and 8 laps led by Ryan Sieg. All right, let's get into your results. Christopher Bell dominated on the day. Was he able to shut Kyle Busch out of his 95th Xfinity Series victory? No, he wasn't. Kyle Busch takes the victory off of the late caution of the Jeremy Clements stall on pit road and is able to take the victory, his 95th in the Xfinity Series, 203rd overall across the top 3 national series. Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell gave him a good run. They were probably the 2 strongest cars on the day. Reddick settled for second, Bell in third. Chase Briscoe in 4th, and Jeb Burton rounded up the top 5 in his first run in the 8-car Ford Junior Motorsports. Rest of your top 10, a good run for Michael Annett in 6th, Justin Haley 7th, Jeffrey Earnhardt in the first race for Extreme Racing in 8th, John Hunter Nemechek in 9th, and Ryan Sieg, another top 10 for him in 10th. 11th through 20th, Austin Cindric in 11th, Justin Allgaier, Noah Gragson, Junior Motorsports teammates 12th and 13th. Ross Chastain came home in the 16th position. Kaz Grala had a great run going in his first run in the 21 car for Childress, and unfortunately he had issues late and came home in the 18th position, 2 laps down. 21st through 30th, Jeremy Clements, we talked about his issues stalling on pit road late. 26th would be where he would land on the day. Final page, 31st through 38th, Brandon Jones and Cole Custer, we talked about their incident late, 33rd and 34th. Brad Keselowski out after 68 laps, and he came home in the 36th position. All right, that's your results from the My Bariatric Solutions 300. So let's head over to the Media Center, and for the 3rd time in 6 races this season, we will see what Kyle Busch and his team had to say after this win.
Mostly, I mean, it's been a track position race all day. Us, the 20, the 2 car there, were virtually the same speed all day. We had trouble passing each other. You just get so aero tight, and with a sort of a short run there at the end and a lot of cautions coming after cautions, just wanted to get them out front as quick in and out of the pits as we could and put them as close to the front as we could.
I thought it was a tad more usable today. Maybe with just some of the Cup cars practicing and kind of getting in it and rubbering it in a little bit was beneficial. And then I think, too, the Xfinity cars getting in it, rubbering it in a little bit. It's not like it's night and day. It does take a little bit of heat to activate. It's not there on restarts. I tried to throw it off in there a few times on restarts, and get some grip out of it, and it's not there. So you definitely have to tiptoe with it for a few laps and then kind of use it to your discretion as you go. And it makes dealing with lap cars a bit easier, depending on where they fall. So, it's not a bad thing.
Obviously, I think Kyle said it all. He's mentored him from a young age, really, going up through the truck program with him. Was very high on him then, and said the same thing then. He thought he had something, and obviously, as he's been running up now, working with our group, we can see that as well. He's getting more and more experience and more confidence. He's good at adjusting and relating back to Jason what's going on with the car, and they can make good adjustments. So exactly what Kyle says, I think that he's got a bright future ahead of him.
And we'll take a quick look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here today. With Kyle Busch winning today, that still leaves Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, and Michael Annett as your 3 Xfinity regulars that have won races this season, locked themselves into the playoffs. Tyler Reddick leads the drivers in on points. He actually leads the points overall at this point with 268. Ryan Sieg still sitting pretty there in 9th with his stage win, and a fairly good gap on the cutoff line. Unfortunately, with the way things sit right now, I think Ross Chastain is your odd man out at this point. We really have 13 cars that are competitive enough to be in the playoffs this season at this point. And unfortunately, with as good as Ryan Sieg is running, that kind of leaves Ross Chastain the odd man out. I mean, he's really overperforming in those cars as it is, in those JD Motorsports cars, but I don't know that he can push those cars any more than what he has been. As good as he is, I think he's getting everything he can out of those cars, and unfortunately, unless things really turn around here going forward, I think he's the odd man out here. And I think your 12 guys that are in the playoffs right now are your 12 guys in the playoffs, unless one of them gets hit with a bunch of bad luck going forward. I think that's your 12 playoff drivers. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out going forward, but I think that's how this is going to play out. But that is your playoff grid following the My Bariatric Solutions 300, and I believe that will do it for us tonight on the Xfinity Rewind. K&N West race going on right now. Might have just wrapped up by the time this goes up. Rewind for that coming up tomorrow morning, Sunday morning. And then a Cup preview show coming up as usual, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning to preview their race at Texas tomorrow on Sunday. Of course, a Cup Rewind coming up Sunday evening to talk about that race and get you caught up on what happened there. Then, of course, Pole Position coming up Monday evening, 8 p.m. to recap you on everything that happened this weekend, not just in NASCAR, but in all the major forms of motorsports that were in action this weekend. But if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. And while you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. But at that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.